Hey, what's up everybody? Jake here and welcome to the hobby. There was a recent article that just came out that stated that sales of Scarlet and Violet Pokemon cards are way down compared to the prior sets. And if you look at the prices on the sets, this is absolutely correct. It looks like Scarlet and Violet sets are barely going for $90 a box. And remember, the Pokemon Company increased the MSRP for these booster boxes. They are now retailing for $160 on the Pokemon Center, which is insanely expensive when on the secondary market, you can find these boxes going for around 90 bucks. And at $90, most game stores are making maybe $5 per box, if even that. The margins are razor thin on sealed products right now, which is a great time to be a collector. You can pick up booster boxes for close to wholesale prices, but that doesn't mean that the hobby is dead. No, I would actually say things are more vibrant now than ever. Most collectors are very diverse. There are so many different areas for you to start collecting Pokemon cards in. If you look at the sealed products from sets prior to Scarlet and Violet, most of those sets have appreciated in value. Even some of the most cheap sets from the Sword and Shield era, something like Battle Styles. Battle Styles is considered one of the worst set from the Sword and Shield block, and it's still doing really well. I picked up booster boxes at the lowest price point of around $70 to $80 per booster box, and now they are floating at $110, and this is the worst set by many people's opinion, not mine, from this series. Most of the other sets have appreciated quite a bit. If you look at something like Fusion Strike, which came out right after Evolving Skies, it's already going for upwards of well over $200. Of course, it's kind of riding on the coattail of Evolving Skies, but the Sword and Shield block, which was printed throughout the pandemic, is still doing really well. And I think this is a great place for the hobby to be. Modern sets, brand new sets that came out within the last 2 years, should be readily available. They should not be spiking up in value. If you remember when Evolving Skies was officially released, booster boxes were $200 right out of the gate, which is insane. It's a really good set, but that's an insane price point for a sealed product. Nowadays, you can find so many cards going for super affordable prices, so I definitely want to shout out some of these cards. The first group of really great looking and affordable cards that you definitely want to check out are the Trainer Gallery cards. You probably recognize a lot of these from the tail end of the Sword and Shield blocks. These look really amazing. They are art cards with a Pokemon trainer in the art with their Pokemon, and it looks really good. All of these cards are gorgeous, and many of them were easy pulls. So a lot of these cards are very cheap right now, going for less than $1. And if you want to make a really awesome collection, a really nice binders full of really nice looking cards, you can pick up probably 60 to 80 Trainer Gallery cards for under $1. So those are all really affordable cards, so you can easily get yourself a really nice looking binder for pennies pretty much. The next group of cards that are even going to be cheaper are going to be Illustration Rares and Galarian Gallery cards. These are kind of similar to the Trainer Gallery cards, very similar in fact. However, they don't always include a trainer, which makes it kind of weird. Sometimes there's a trainer inside of the art, but not always. The Illustration Rares tend to be a little bit more vibrant and really out there. The artists tend to have a lot more creative freedom for how they want to approach the art, and some of them have really gone out there and make some really interesting art pieces. So definitely check these out. The Illustration Rares and the Galarian Gallery from the Crown Zenith set are really cheap. Some of them are expensive, but a lot of them are not. So if you're looking for cards that are just under $1, there's a ton of Illustration Rares all throughout the Scarlet and Violet block, as well as in the later Sword and Shield blocks that look really good. So if you just want some amazing, gorgeous looking art pieces and you're not worried about how rare it is or how much value is going to garner in the future, then this is an easy way to possibly scoop up as much as 200 unique art pieces for less than $1 each. If you go to a trade show and they're selling these cards for $1/4 a card, you can pick up yourself an amazing collection for less than $100. There's not going to be a super valuable collection, but boy, is this collection going to look amazing. And I think if you're a brand new collector, that's really where you should focus on, is just having a really awesome looking collection that you're just happy to flip every single page of your binder to. The last group of cards that I definitely want you guys to consider are going to be the alt art cards for some of these sets that have climbed up in value over the last couple of months. Sets like Evolving Skies and Fusion Strikes. The alt art cards for these booster boxes are incredibly hard pulls. There are cases out there, cases of Evolving Skies where people have cracked open 6 booster box, a complete case, and they couldn't find a single alt art chase cards. So these alt art cards are rare. However, they are very, very cheap. If you look at some of the S tier alt art cards, something like the PSA 10 Sleepy Dragonite, that's an amazing looking card. It's a gorgeous looking card that you would be ecstatic to pull from your Evolving Skies booster box. However, this card is going for a very, very cheap price compared to a booster box. A booster box of Evolving Skies is going for $600 to $700 right now. However, you can pick up a PSA 10 copy of the Sleepy Dragonite for, I think, around $150 to $200. So it's a very cheap and affordable card, and it's in PSA 10. Even if you pull this card from an Evolving Skies booster box, it's unlikely that you're going to get a PSA 10. It'll probably be a PSA 8 or 9. The copies out there are challenging to get a tens of. The quality controls on these booster boxes are very low. So don't ever crack these older sealed booster boxes open. If you want some of these cards, definitely check out the alt art market for some of these sets like Chilling Reign, Evolving Skies, Fusion Strikes. There's a bunch of really gorgeous alt art cards that are incredibly hard pulls from these sets, and they are still very cheap. These cards have started to appreciate in value with the rise of these booster boxes. So if you're not into collecting sealed products, because I absolutely understand having a sealed box on display can look kind of boring, but having a Sleepy Dragonite, having a Rayquaza V Max or a Rayquaza V on display is going to be completely different. These cards look really, really gorgeous. Believe me, I have them in my collection, so I am biased. But guess what? These cards are worth it. So definitely check those out if you are into the market for them. They are slowly climbing in value, and I don't want you to miss out on it. The prices are going to slowly increase. So if this is the time that you want to pick them up, definitely check it out, because the market is very soft right now and it's easy to negotiate on some of these prices. The cards aren't that expensive. There aren't people holding on to these cards hardcore. A lot of collectors are willing to offload them off for pennies on the dollar, especially on a discount if you are willing to negotiate. So definitely be on the lookout for some really good deals. I love bundling deals when I go to trade shows and I get some of these cards for great deals. I think I got my Dragonite V PSA 10 for $90 because I bundled it up with some other cards at a trade show a couple of months ago, and I'm really happy I picked it up because of course I'm not opening up Evolving Skies anymore. I never pulled myself the Dragonite V, and it is an S tier art piece. So I had to get it for my collection. If there are cards out there from these sets that you want to collect and display, now may be the time to pick them up, and I would consider picking them up graded if you're into that market, especially because then you don't have to worry about the condition of the cards. If you are picking them up ungraded, there's a ton of copies out there, and the ungraded market can be kind of iffy. You can definitely get some really good deals, but it's a risky move because you never know what the card's conditions are going to be, and there's always the chance of it being fake. But definitely check out alt art cards, because as the prices for these sealed products start to climb, the best looking cards from these sets are going to appreciate the most in value. And it's going to take some time for people to figure out which ones are going to be the best ones long term. You might think the Umbreon VMAX is going to be the most expensive card from Evolving Skies 10 years from now. I disagree. There's a good chance that another card in those 10 years might overtake Umbreon, and it's just going to be based on what people think are going to be the best looking cards. They can disagree on it now and agree on it later. There's plenty of times where that's happened. Something like the Latios and Latias Tag Team GX card. That was not the most expensive card from the Team Up booster box when it was released. It was one of the cheaper ones, but over time people appreciated the arts. So definitely be on the lookout for any underrated alt art cards inside of these sets. All right, everybody, that's the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Do you think the market right now is truly all doom and gloom? I actually love the market right now because there are so many chances and opportunities to sort of wheel and deal, because there are so many cheap products out there and people are willing to trade, people are willing to let go, and people are willing to make deals right now. So while Scarlet and Violet booster box products are super cheap, I think that's completely okay because these are brand new sets and they should be cheap. They should be readily available, but the vintage market and some of the more modern stuff are appreciating in value. Any sets that's over than 3 years old, those sets are slowly starting to climb in value, and some of them are climbing a bit too rapidly almost. So definitely let me know what your thoughts are. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.